Hi, and welcome to another episode of Emerald Isle Vacation Home Specialist. I am your host, Dennis Richkovsky. Some of you recognize me as the co-owner of Flip Flops Donuts, and some of you know me as your broker of real estate, specializing in waterfront and water view properties along the Crystal Coast, especially in my town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina. From my vantage point as both small business owner and real estate professional, vacationers are coming over the bridge to enjoy the weather and water Emerald Isle is so rightly famous for. In recent episodes, I've reviewed various rules and regulations aimed at improving the safety of our vacationers and increasing their enjoyment of our coastal community. I've discussed the warning flags for beachgoers and how North Carolina is combating the coronavirus. Today's topic is about the famed Emerald Isle Bike Path. I chose this topic for several reasons. First, I interact with the bike path on a daily basis, both as a cyclist and a motorist. Unlike some bike paths, the 13-mile Emerald Isle Bike Path runs parallel to two major roads, Emerald Drive and Coast Guard Road, and it crosses every single cross street in town. This has consequences for both cyclists and motorists alike, which brings me to reason number 2. Recently, I saw the result of one such interaction. 3 bicycles lying in the middle of Cedar Street and the EMS attending to several cyclists who had negatively interacted with the car. So in an effort to reduce such incidents, here are the rules for riding and negotiating the Emerald Isle Bike Path. The Emerald Isle Bike Path extends approximately 11 miles from the Indian Beach town limits all the way to the point at Bogue Inlet. The path winds parallel to Coast Guard Road from its beginning at the point to its end at Emerald Drive. Here the path takes a right turn and runs parallel to Emerald Drive, going by the Welcome Center through the downtown district, passing the municipal complex at Black Skimmer Drive and ending at the eastern town limits. The bike path provides an alternative means of transportation to key destinations in town, such as my Flip Flops Donut Shop, as well as providing an additional recreational opportunity in Emerald Isle for residents and tourists alike. As far as the rules, first we have some general guidelines, as this bike path is available not only to cyclists but to walkers, runners, skateboarders, and other non-motorized activities. Golf carts are not allowed on the path. First rule of thumb is to look carefully before entering or crossing the bikeway, whether walking or driving a car or other vehicle. Second, everyone must keep to the right, except when passing. Third, pass on the left, and only when safe. Give an audible warning like, "On your left," before passing another path user. Fourth, and perhaps most important of all, make a complete stop at all intersections. This is so important that I will return to this point again. Fifth, in the event of a breakdown such as a flat tire, move off the pavement to allow other bikeway users to pass. Lastly, yield to all emergency and maintenance vehicles. Aside from the general guidelines reviewed above, there are additional rules specific for cyclists. First, helmets are recommended for all cyclists and required by North Carolina law for children under 16. No one today leaves home without their phone and their mask. Don't get on your bike without a helmet. Second, cyclists must stop at every intersection. That's why stop signs are posted for users of the path. Third, bicyclists may ride 2 abreast only when safe, i.e. when the bike path is not busy. Never ride 3 or more abreast. Bicycle front and rear lights are required when riding at night. And fourth, ride at a safe speed. When the path is crowded, cyclists, please slow down. We have some general rules specific to walkers and runners as well. Number 1, keep to the right when walking or running on the path. And number 2, look before entering the bikeway, changing direction, or passing another walker or runner. And number 3, don't walk or run more than 2 abreast. And we have some rules specific to skateboarders and inline skaters. First, helmets are required, and knee pads and wrist guards are advised. Second, keep to the right. Skate single file. And third, skate at a safe speed and be prepared to stop suddenly. And whether you are a cyclist, walker, runner, or skateboarder, you must obey all traffic signs, and that means stopping at every intersection. I've watched too many cyclists ignore the stop signs, riding across side streets oblivious to car traffic. Cars are directed to stop before crosswalks, and they do. However, to make a turn onto Emerald Drive, cars must enter and cross the crosswalk. Recently, I was doing just that when 3 cyclists on the path ignored their stop signs and passed directly in front of me. Fortunately, I was able to slam on my brakes to avoid hitting one or more of them. On another occasion, I was turning left onto a side street and had to stop suddenly as 2 cyclists raced through the crosswalk as I was entering it. Another hard braking prevented an accident. I'm going on about this because too many cyclists believe that they have exclusive right of way when riding this path. They do not. And this is what leads to accidents like the one I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Bottom line, if you want to ignore stop signs and other rules of the path, simply ride your bicycle on Emerald Drive, where you do have the right of way over traffic in the cross streets. I'll get off my soapbox now and remind you of some common courtesies the town would like all users of the path to extend to all. First, do not litter or trespass on private property. Second, keep your dog on a leash. Third, if your dog poops, you scoop. Fourth, respect other path users. Share the path. The path in Emerald Isle is a great resource, and it adds immeasurably to everyone's enjoyment of this fine coastal community. Get on island time, obey the rules of the path, and return next week to the same bat channel at the same bat time of 9 a.m. on Thursday for another episode of Emerald Isle Vacation Home Specialist.